really what we're seeing from how they're dealing with an environment today, it's from a regulatory perspective. That's really on the forefront. We see it in everything about how they're processing in their environment, what they're doing operationally, the controls they have to put in place, and what they need to do for reporting out, both from a regulatory perspective as well as to the end investor. The most pressing need right now, obviously, is the upcoming timelines around FATCA, and that's really pushed people to be prepared for that in advance of those deadlines that are coming in July. Well, it's really changed how they approach things from an infrastructure perspective. So everything from creating a more efficient operational infrastructure that allows them to get the data more timely fashion, as well as how to address these from a regulatory standpoint with controls and processing and reporting. So it's really changed from a platform perspective how they approach their entire infrastructure. Well, one of the things that we're seeing is once you aggregate this information and create a more efficient process around the platform, really opens you up to being able to do more with the data that you have and how you're processing things. So you see an easier process around the overall regulatory environment. So not only do you evolve how you're doing your regulatory process, it facilitates the new regulations that come in. So when we first looked at things from a Form PF perspective, that was aggregating data and processing it in a way to address that specific issue. Now, as we've evolved this to things that are more investor-focused, like FATCA, as well as AIFMD, we're recognizing that from a platform perspective, if you look at this, and you can leverage each one of these processes. Once you have it, it also allows you to do more with that data for your business. Yes, so what we're seeing from a data perspective is that once the data is aggregated, we're really changing how we look at data and what we do with it. So historically, you aggregated individual data sets, whether it be by product or investment strategy, and you analyzed it and you reported on it. Now what we're seeing is an aggregation of data across the entire firm, which allows you to look at it from a platform perspective, allows you to aggregate it with external data, and then help you make decisions from whether it's aggregating trending information or other big data type of concepts into this to help you see and predict behavior and predict what things could happen to your business and from an investor perspective. Really, I think that there's a lot of different impacts. One from, they're involved in the process. So part of what we're doing for FATCA is where there's research and analysis done on the investor, but really the investor is driving a lot of this. So some of the transparency that we're striving to get to are things that have been driven by the investor, whether it's NAV verification or additional due diligence associated with, say, open protocol and things like aggregating risk information. But once that data is presented to the investor, they also need the ability to utilize it. So we're seeing clients or investors who want to be able to drive into that information, do detail analysis, slice and dice that information, and they want it everywhere. So not just on a desktop, but they need access to it from a mobile perspective on any type of device.